Hello and welcome back to Cowboy Insiders. As the NFL free agents is off and running, and we are keeping a track of every major signings, a trade, and the release of the 2026 off season with analysis from our NFL national reporters and grades from our expert. The new league year began on March 11th, and the first round of 2026 NFL Draft begin on April 23. So here is a breakdown of every 2026 NFL free agencies deal by the Dallas Cowboys and how each will impact upcoming season, and also the next we'll talk about some of NFL draft in the Dallas Cowboy and the players signing with Dallas Cowboy in NFL draft mocks. So if you didn't make subscribe on Cowboy Insiders, please make subscribe, and it is for the first time. Make subscribe, like, share, and comments in order to build our Cowboy Insiders fans. Jalen Thompson. John Thompson matching up with Asetlo, Jackson Smith, and Jigubua was a full-time starter in Arizona. The past 5 seasons, the former Cardinal agreed a 3-year deal with a maximum of $33 million. The Cowboys made their first splash free agency agreement since adding a cornerback Brandon Carr on 5 years, which will worth about $50 million deal in 2026. Thompson fills a major need in a secondary for the Cowboys. He has been full-time starter at the past 5 seasons with Arizona and also has 9 career interceptions. He can fill a multiple roles for a new coordinator, Christian Parker, and has familiarity on the coaching staff with a new corners with a coach Ryan Smith. The Cowboys need communicator in the secondary, and the Thompson can make sure everybody is one of the same page. He is a young, turning 28 in July, but has an experience to help a secondary grow in a Dallas Cowboys. Next is Kobe Durant. Kobe Durant is joining a Dallas Cowboy on 1 year deal which will worth about $6 million. Durant started 39 of 61 games in his 4 years with the Rams and they recorded 7 interceptions and returning 2 for touchdowns. Between 5 and 11 foot and 181 pounds, he is not a large cornerback, but he has shown the ability to match up well with a bigger receivers. The Cowboys have question on the position with Dallon Bland and Shavon Levers Jr. and Colin Carson playing through injuries last year, and Bland is rehabbing from off-season foot surgery. The Cowboys hope Rivera will make a secondary year jump after missing the first 9 games last season, recovering from a torn ACL. This means Dallon was on rehabilitation and recovering from ACL injury. Durant has some experience playing in a slot, which could be a bonus for the Cowboys, but his addition would not prevent them from selecting a corners with one of their first 2-round picks in upcoming NFL draft mocks. Then also, The Sam Williams, he is the defensive end in re-upping on 1 year deal which will worth about $3 million US. The former Cowboys second round picks return on low cost and low risk move. He had 1 sack last season after coming back from a torn ACL and starting 5 of 17 games. He has credited with 38 tackles and 25 pressures and 6 tackles for loss, a fumble recovery and forced fumble. He had 8.5 sacks in the first 2 years before the injury. So perhaps a change in a scheme under a Packer can up his pass rusher production in 2026. While the trade of Lashan Gally means more for the defense, signing Williams shouldn't take the Cowboys out of adding more help in free agencies or using one of their top picks on pass rusher in the NFL draft. So, Dallas Cowboys also agreed 1 year deal with a maximum of $3 million with a former Charger, Otito Agbonia. Defensive tackles doesn't seem like a major need when the Cowboys already have Quinnen Williams, Ken Duck, and Salmon Thomas. Also plus 2025 draft picks J. Toia. But Agonia can play a role. A Packer wants to keep a fresh rotation of linemen in his defense. Ogbonia was limited to 9 games last season because of injury, but he had 14 pressures and a half sack. He has started 20 career games and 81 tackles. Between 6 foot and 4 and 320 pounds, he has a size to help a bolster on the front. PG Loki, the former Broncos safety, will join also Dallas with 1 year contract. Catch up on NFL free agencies, top remaining players, and grading deals, ranking 32 classes, and lingering questions, and every team signing more reactions. After agreeing to deal with a Thompson on Monday, Aloki is a second safety to be brought aboard. The Cowboys reworked the deal for one of the last year's starter, Malik Hooker, and have Max Kisbell on roster. So the safety group looks filled out. Aloki started 26 games in 6 years in Denver, and he had an interception in the Broncos playoff win versus a Buffalo in this year in January. If the Cowboys believe a Thompson can play the nickel spot full time, that opens up opportunities for a Aloki, who has 174 tackles and 7 tackles for a loss in his career. At the very least, he brings a veteran depth and also can be a core special teamers in the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't really need another quarterback with last year's loan. So Dak Prescott and Joe Milton III and Will Glee under contract, but they brought on fourth arm Howard, who ended last season with Philadelphia after spending time with Minnesota made the first start of his career against the Cowboys in 2022 while with Washington and got the wins. For his career, he has recorded 22 touchdowns, passes, and 23 interceptions. So can he compete for the backup jobs held by Milton last season? Is he just another arm for the off-season program? It's a fly on a guy and Cowboys would like to see what he has. There is no really risk here. Hennessy essentially replaces a block Hoffman who has been valuable reserve central and guards the past two seasons and has not tended as a restricted free agents. Hennessy has started 24 games including the games in Atlanta. He has a third round picks out of a tempo for Atlanta in 2025 and played for the Falcons and San Francisco the past 6 seasons. The Cowboys needed interior offensive line depth and have a TG Bass who started late last season at the left guards and is restricted as a free agent. The Cowboys tendered a bus at a second round level of $6 million. Adrian Hendrick also, which have been already signed a new contract with the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk with what will help the Dallas Cowboys in this season. The former Rams signed 1-year millions contract that could max about. The Cowboys believe that a team can never have enough corners. They added a Kobe Durant in the first week of free agents. They re-signed a lady Stewart and Kendrick, who has 3 interceptions in 47 games with the Rams, and Seahawks in his career, which have a chance to earn a roster spot this summer. But look for the Cowboys to add at least one more cornerback in a draft, perhaps in the first round. The former Santa Claus is joining a Dallas on 1-year deal. Contract is a Jonathan Bullard. Bullard is another rotational piece for defensive line. He is entering his 11th season and has played for 6 teams, including the New Orleans Saints last year. But he has a background with a new defensive line coach Marcus Dixon. Having spent 3 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, with Williams and Clark already at defensive tackles. The Cowboys have added 2 veterans pieces with a free agencies the routine roster building exercise for the Dallas. This is defining moment that could shape the franchise's future for years to come in the Dallas Cowboys. For the months leading up the draft, speculation surrounded what approaches the Cowboys would take. Would they play it safe and build a death? Or would they go all in, targeting an elite prospect who could immediately transform the team into a Super Bowl contender? So now as events develop, the answer seems to lean heavily toward aggressions and bold decisions making. At the center of it all, owner Jerry Jones, the figure known across the league for his willingness to take risks in pursuit of the greatness. This year, his influence is once again evidence. So, report from inside of the Cowboys organization. It suggests that Jones has been heavily involved in the draft. In the draft discussions, pushing for impact players rather than conservative selections. His vision is clear: a Dallas must not only compete but dominate other teams in the NFL this year. One of the most talked about areas for the Cowboys in this draft has been the offense. Despite having proven quarterback in Dak Prescott, the team recognizes that more firepower is needed. In today's NFL, explosive offenses win championship, and Dallas is determined to keep apace with a league elite. As a result, the front office has been closely monitoring wide receiver and offensive playmaker who can stretch the field, create mismatches, and turn short plays into big gains. Insiders have revealed that the Cowboys have shown a serious interest in dynamic receiving talent. So a players with a speed, precise route learning, and the ability to perform under pressure. The goal is to give Prescott another weapon who can change the game at any moment, forcing defenses to adjust and opening up opportunities across the field. But offense is only half the story. The Cowboys defense anchored by superstar linebacker Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is already one of the most feared units of the league. However, the front office believes that adding the light pieces could elevate it to an entirely new level. So the edge rushers, a shutdown corner, and versatile defensive backs are all being evaluated as potential targets. Parsons in particular has become the centerpiece of the defensive strategy, and his ability to disrupt offenses, pressure quarterback, and make game-changing plays has made him one of the most valuable players in the entire NFL. The Cowboys' draft strategy appears focused on surrounding him with complementary talent, players who can capitalize on the chaos, and he creates and turns it into a turnover and defensive dominance. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of the Dallas draft activity is the possibility of the trades. So throughout the day, rumors have intensified that the Cowboys are actively exploring deals to move up with the draft order. So this is not just something Dallas goes lightly, which makes the situation even more compelling. Moving up would likely to require sacrificing valuable picks, but the rewards could be landing a generational talent. A league sources suggest that the Cowboys have identified a small group of prospects they consider they must have players. So if one of these players begins to slide, Dallas could make a bold move to secure them. These approaches reflect a franchise that understands the importance of innate talent and is willing to pay the price to get it. At the same time, the Cowboys are being careful not to overlook the importance of the depth. So later rounds of the draft are expected to focus on building a stronger and more balanced roster. Offensive linemen and linebackers and the rotational defensive players are all on the ladder of the Dallas Cowboys. So these selections may not generate headlines, but they are crucial for sustaining a success over a long NFL seasons. So another key factor influencing the Cowboys' decision is evaluating process. Coaches and scouts of the Dallas Cowboys have spent a countless hours analyzing a game film and conducting interviews, and also assessing the character of each prospect. For the Dallas, talent alone is not enough. They are just looking for a players who bring a leadership in a team, discipline, and winning mentality, qualities that align with the character of the team is trying to build. So as the draft continues, reaction from the fans and analysts have been intense. Every pick is scrutinized, every decision debated. Cowboys fans, known for their passions and high expectations, are watching closely, hoping that this year draft will finally bring the missing pieces needed for a deep playoff run or even championship. The stakes could not be higher. The NFC is loaded with the strong team, and the margin for error is laser thin. One great draft can propel a team to top, while a poor one can set it back for the years. So the Cowboys are full aware of this reality, which is why their approach this year feels different, more aggressive and more focused and more determined well. By the end of the 2026 NFL Draft may be remembered as the turning point for the Dallas Cowboys, whether through the board trades, smart selection, or combination of both, and the decisions made during this event will define the direction of the franchise. For now, all eyes remain on the Dallas. The picks are being made, the board is shifting, and the future is being written in a little time and clear. Take the team deeper into a playoff and compete for a championship. Supporting Prescott is one of the league's most dynamic wide receivers in CeeDee Lamb, whose ability to create separations, make explosive plays, and dominate a defense has made him a cornerstone of the offense. Together, they form a partnership that has the potential to be one of the most dangerous in the NFL. But even that is not sufficient, but the light supporting case cost. On the defensive side of the ball, Micah Parsons has emerged as a generational talent. And Micah Parsons is not just a linebacker, he is a complete defensive weapon capable of flashing the passer, dropping into the coverage and disrupting a plays in ways that few players in the league can replicate. His presence alone changes how opposing offenses prepare for the Cowboys. However, the team has recognized that relying too heavily on one player, no matter how talented, is not sustainable strategy. The draft therefore becomes an opportunity to build a defensive unit that complements a person's. One of the most pressing concerns for the Dallas heading into this draft is the offensive line. Once considered the gold standard of the NFL, the Cowboys' offensive line has experienced a gradual decline due to the injuries, aging of players, and a roster turnover. Protecting a Dak Prescott has become an absolute priority, not just to maintain offensive efficiency but to ensure the long-term health and effectiveness of the quarterback position. The front office is acutely aware that without the strong and reliable offensive line, even the most talented offense can struggle. As a result, the Cowboys are expected to invest heavily in a lineman who combines a physical strength, technical skills, and the mental awareness needed to adapt a speed of professional game. Beyond the trenches, the Cowboys are also focused on adding a depth and versatility to the defensive unity. The modern NFL demands defenses that can adapt to a wide range of offensive schemes, from a high-powered passing attacks to a balanced run-heavy system. So Dallas is targeting a player who brings a speed, flexibility, and intelligence to the field, defenders who can cover in multiple positions, react quickly to the changing situations, and contribute in various roles. This approach reflects a broader shift in the team philosophy, one that emphasizes adaptability and strategic depth over a rigid position alone. Offensively, the need for additional weapons is another key focus. While CeeDee Lamb has established himself as a true member one receiver, the Cowboys understand that elite offenses require a multiple threat. Defenses have become increasingly sophisticated and relying on a single dominant receiver who can make an offense predictable. By adding another wide receiver with a speed, a tight end who can both block and crouch, the running back who excel in at passing game, Dallas can create a more dynamic and unpredictable attack. This not only helps Prescott but also forces opposing defenses to spread their attention, opening up opportunities across the field. And what makes this year's draft particularly interesting is the way of the Cowboys are blending traditional scouting with a modern analytics. The organization has embraced a data-driven decisions making, analyzing players' performance metrics, injury histories, and scheme fit in a greater detail than ever before. This evolution demonstrates willingness to adapt to the changing landscape of the National Football League, where a success often depends on finding the right balance between intuition and information. It is a sign that the Cowboys are not just relying on their legacy, but are actively working to stay ahead of the curve. The pressure surrounding the franchise cannot be ignored. The Cowboys